Why is Mars so important to many? On the one hand, is it because Mars is the god of war, and by needlessly subjugating humanity with continuous war, the fallen angels of antiquity become continuously reincarnated into the belief system of the most common man through denominational design and therefore doctrinal belief? Or am I reading too much and just sending a spaceship to Mars because Mars just happens to offer the most exotic of getaways, especially when it comes to imagining where Disneyland might end up, perhaps 100 years from now? Mars is still a god in the Dionysus temple. Freedom continues to become oppressed by all those who will continue to worship the fallen angels as gods. They're creating an unlimited supply of debtors' notes to the commoners as the most willing accomplices in a nation that's been given over to a reprobate god. Other sources requiring the Martian conspiracy theory parallel those of the movie Total Recall. Mention that there exist jump rooms available for others to come and go from remote building locations. These locations can exist anywhere underground and throughout the US, Europe, and Great Britain. Some of these rooms are supposedly to and from the Martian underground. This is how the personnel are arriving. The heavy equipment arrives via large advanced spacecraft. There's one large underground facility and several other smaller facilities. Apollo was not faked. There was useful technology employed to protect the spacecraft from the Van Allen belt. Non-human engineered ultralight nanoshield, in addition to a small power unit from Monsanto that could supply free energy when it was required. It's also been suggested that the lunar module lander and return vessel utilize an electrogravity assist in both landing and takeoff from the lunar surface. The truth is, I wouldn't be surprised at all to find that these kinds of technology have been used ever since the days leading up to the Roswell incident and simply got carried over to the Apollo years. One of the main reasons for the internet was to disseminate this information in bits and pieces so that people, even with a rudimentary knowledge, could grasp what was going on, and probably has been going on for a much longer time period, and a much longer time period than even mass media and television has been around. Anything capable of reasonable or logical to the human mind will eventually cede to AI, replacing it. However, the way that the reasonable and logical knowledge becomes apportioned will have to depend upon the way in which the 12 tribes of Israel become separated from one another. It's almost as if human DNA specific to this part of the galaxy would have been manufactured for the climate that became most appropriate to ensure its survival. 12 tribes may mean that there are 12 possible ways that logic and reason can become understood by the human mind, sort of like having 3 dimensions of 3 parallel worlds each, with a single 4th dimension that rules over each of the other 3, having 3 additional time dimensions to shuttle back and forth between. Here's a diagram showing a possible configuration of the New Jerusalem. 1 time dimension, 2 time dimensions, and 3 time dimensions. One of the reasons that the design for the New Jerusalem would have 12 stabilizer sectors controlling pitch and inclination is because there is no reasonable expectation why any person on board would have to be knowledgeable of any arrival location due to the fact that Earthlings are way too dependent on the Schumann wavelengths controlling their brainwaves. And navigation of this sort puts a damper on any Schumann frequency that would be expected to remain within the norm of human consciousness. The 12 tribes approach places members of each one of the 12 tribes in a common sector, so that the effects of any manufactured polarization or stabilization remains accounted for each of the DNA-specific tribes. But this phenomenon is being accomplished throughout the flight path of the vessel.